So today we do some demolding. Let's take some components out. I kind of tend to stick to the floor, but it's not such a big deal. Ooh. I do have one issue though. I got one of my parts stuck in the other part. Yay. Okay, so I accidentally got one of the circuit boards stuck in the mold for the other circuit board. This could be tricky. Okay, so now we can see under here how I actually got a little bubble on the back side of this one. That seems to be fairly common, which I'm not too happy about, but we'll deal with it. I'm just going to actually leave that in that mold, so it'll help me just remold it. Let's take this guy loose. Sometimes the easiest way to get these loose is to actually take a little X-Acto blade and not stab yourself in the foot. Okay. Put it in between these two parts of the mold and very carefully pry them apart. And the fingertip should come off with the top part of the mold. Make sure you can see this. Actually, I made it even zoom in. So you can see how we have touch sensor 1, touch sensor 2 attached to this fingertip. The demolding process, take an X-Acto, go in behind the top of the tip of the finger, do a little bit of twist, a little bit of twist. You want to be pretty careful. You can actually see the line where the old mold was, and every once in a while whenever you see that kind of pop up as more visible, you need to switch to trying to get from the side. You want to make sure you get under the circuit board and not too far into it, because you want to make sure you're not going to end up cutting a trace by accident. So it's a little bit of pry there, just a little bit of pry there, and once I'm underneath there, I can actually go fairly far under the part and then just follow underneath it, get all the fiducials off the mold. Once all four are off, you can pull the top, do a little wiggle, and you gotta pull this thing out the side where the circuit board goes in. Before you go yanking on it too hard though, you may want to go to the top, clear off this excess material, because it tends to hold on to the circuit board. And there we go. So there's your cast fingertip. A couple little random hairs here and there, which you can just tear off. No big deal. And then there you have a sensorized fingertip. I'm going to leave the proximal part in because of the bubble right here, which is pretty deep. Steam mold number 2. Okay. Stuck to the table. Alright. Let's see what the back side looks like. I almost get it. It's really hard to get all the bubbles out of these. There's a bubble here and a bubble there, but we'll fill those back in the next molding. I wish I could. Need to figure out some way to not have that problem. Remember, a little slit behind the back. Okay, and up it goes. Once that end is up, grab it like so. And there's another fingertip again. Isn't pretty? I'd love to find a way, actually, if I were going to make a bunch of these, I would find a really fun little technique, and I would figure out how to put my fingerprints on them. I think that'd be super fun. So, this one's mold release seemed to work a little better, which is good. Peels off pretty easy. And behind the circuit board again, pop off that fiducial. You don't want to cut the fiducial actually off the little mold post. So we want to use this mold over and over again if we can. Okay, so that's free down there. And we remove our excess off the back. Be very careful not to cut the board. Looks like we didn't get any mold release up on the top here, which is not good. Okay, and there's part number 2. You can see the kind of rougher spots. That's where support material was on the 3D printed mold. It's kind of a bummer, but I could think of worse things. Let's see how the triplet ones did. These are the first time molding the actual proximal molds. The bubble filling, did okay. It'll be a good pocket for our cyanoacrylate to hold whenever we bond it onto the rest of the finger. So get up underneath this one. Sometimes you just need to start a bubble and they'll just pop right out. You want to be careful not to yank on the circuit board. So let's demold without that. Okay, there's that half. I'll take this guy off. And there you go, look at that. Taking this out of the mold might be a little bit trickier because it's kind of a weird geometry that might end up locking it on pretty good. Plus the side circuit board picked up some urethane. We don't want that. We don't want any of this. So right now I'm just trimming off this section right here. You want to be very careful not to go behind and hit the circuit board itself. That would be bad, as always. And we're going to go up under behind. You can see, oh yeah, there's a chip right there. Let's not put it there. Okay, so this half of the board is off. There's a chip right underneath here that you need to be careful of. Okay. Alright, so we are basically off of that. We just need to see if we can actually pull off to the side. This is tricky. Quite tricky. There we go. So get some urethane to get up into the mold or into the circuit board. There. Just make sure it's clear. And we can take it off. So this didn't turn out super amazing. Not quite happy with how it's turned out. Got some cleanup to do, of course, but still that mold didn't work out super great. There's a bunch of bubble here, which is going to be kind of tough to fill. Bubble there, it's going to be tough to fill. We'll probably try to patch it up just like we did this. In fact, maybe what I'll do from now on is, instead of trying to fix this while I'm pouring this, I'll just fix both at the same time. Yeah, again, same problem. You can see that there's no urethane right here where it's supposed to be. It's problematic. Go under this end of the circuit board. On this end, don't swipe across because of the handshaker on the bottom. Okay, that one's out. So this finger technically has all of its pads. So we could do a dry fit and see what it's going to be like today. So I'm going to trim these up, trim this with an X-Acto, and then I'm going to probably put them back into their molds, and tonight I'll mold up the patches, try to fill up that little void there, because that's going to really ruin our bond strength on our medial position, our medial structural piece. But that's a molded set of finger sensors. How about that?